Amazing transformations to bad fitness advice. Today we're going to jump in and review and react to some TikToks I found online that are all gamers doing the fitness thing or fitness professionals giving really bad advice to gamers. But before we jump into that, I apologize. My audio went crazy. My OBS settings must have been jank when I recorded this video, so I tried to realign things as best as I could with the actual TikToks, but some TikToks just didn't have audio when you go to input them for some reason. So I don't know what that's about, because I can hear the audio when I play it back on my computer. I just can't. I don't know. But apologies already for how weird that's going to be, but let's hop into it.
Gamers are lazy and unhealthy.
How hard we compete. How personal do you take this? How personal do you take your matchup? How personal do you take it if they don't slide to you? How personal do you...
Alright, I want to talk about this real quick. Because they're in an at-home gym, and I see the spotter behind them, I do want to talk about this. This is just a general thing. When it comes to barbell back squats, we absolutely are going to need a spotter or safety supports on your rack. Do not try a barbell back squat, especially if you are pushing the limits of the weight that you're putting on your squat without one of those two things. Also understand if you are using the safety racks, and even if you have a support, how to bail out properly, because if you don't, you could hurt yourself a lot. And we don't want that. We don't want you to get hurt doing an exercise that is pretty standard in most workout programs, but we also don't want you to fear the exercise. Obviously, don't do it if you have things that hurt you, or you don't have the proper form, or you can't get into the proper form for a deep, full range of motion barbell back squat. There are plenty of other squat variations that you don't have to do a barbell back squat. However, if you are going to do them, make sure you have one of those two things, because safety is important when we're doing all of this. Just wanted to note that, because I do see, the spotter, and I don't see safety arms that I can tell. I'm not saying they're not there. I just can't really see, effective safety arms for a barbell back squat if you fail out. And you want to make sure you do that one in particular safe, because you could really hurt yourself, potentially even kill yourself, if you don't do those properly. So I just wanted to mention that. Good on you for understanding the limitations of a barbell back squat. That may even be your trainer. I don't know. But I like to make the safety note there that if you are going to start doing these things at a home gym, make sure that you have someone or your equipment is set up so that you have safety arms, that you are safely doing them at home.
Take it if somebody beats you with a ground ball? How personal do you take it if somebody knocks the ball out of your stick after you?
There's been a lot of discourse about deadlifts on the internet lately, or at least in the circles of the internet I am in. I love a good deadlift. I prefer to pull sumo. There's not really a difference. There is a difference in the muscle groups, but point being, you can pull sumo, you can pull conventional. You're still getting the benefits of doing a hinge activity like a deadlift. I love a good deadlift. Are they necessary? I think some form of a hinge activity is necessary. It doesn't necessarily have to be a traditional barbell deadlift, though. It could be an RDL. It could be banded. It could be whatever. Whatever your hinge activity, as long as it is a hinge movement, you do need hinge movements in your workout programming, but it doesn't have to be a conventional deadlift. I just, I love a good conventional, and I love a good RDL, too.
You pick the ground ball up. Fellas, there's a lot to be said about character.
Another really good exercise to incorporate in all of your programs. I love that it's kind of showcasing the major lifts that you would typically see in something like a powerlifting competition, or, your traditional basic programs would have all of these 3 lifts somewhere in them. And I do love showcasing that. It might just be, these were the easy to film, or, PRs that were filmed or whatever. But I love the fact that it does showcase 3 of the biggest lifts that you're going to see in pretty much every program that involves barbell work.
What happens when you make a mistake? Do you sit back and you feel sorry for yourself? Or do you ball your fists up and get in a fist fight? Fellas, we made a mistake 10 days ago, and now it's about character.
Hot damn, you're getting lifted heavy when you're you've maxed out the bar and you have to start adding chains to it. That is one hell of a deadlift. It looks like he might be training as a power lifter here. It is possible that is what's going on, given the lifts chosen to showcase in this video. Either way, still amazing. Also, I would love to find a gym that let me lift barefoot. That's why I love working out from home.
All that matters today is our response. Pull your fists up, take it personally, and get ready to get in a damn fist fight.
Holy hell! That is a transition. And I would love to know about how long this transition took. I would guess anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on the nutrition side. There's not really enough. But that transition is amazing. And the fact that he's also, disproving the stereotype of gamers can't be, they're just lazy and unhealthy or whatever you want to say. Proof is in the pudding right here. The proof is in some of these people that are actively trying to disprove that you can still enjoy your hobby as a gamer and still be fit and healthy, even in the traditional sense. You don't even have to use video games. A lot of people do, especially in the beginning, just because it's more fun that way. But look at this. It proves the work in the gym is amazing, obviously, but also showcases that you can balance life with health and fitness in a way if you have a hobby that is more sedentary and it's not, hiking or hockey or whatever. I like it. And also, congratulations to you. I am Rob, because that transition is amazing. Curious how long it took. Like I said, I would guess probably 6 months to a year, just based off of what was shown in this video, but it could have been shorter, could have been longer. Who knows? On to the next video. All right, we're looking at an account called Shred with Shelly. So if we're looking at an account with that name, I would typically assume, I haven't looked at the accounts that I got any of these videos from. I kind of just went on TikTok and searched, fit gamer or something like that. But looking at the name of this account, I'm going to go with this is probably a fitness account of some variety. But let's look at what the comment says. You still play video games though, right? I'm assuming this is probably from a video on a transition or, talking about gaming or something like that. All right, so she showcased just there, different ways to get activity in while you're gaming, doing, flutter kicks upside down. Was that flutter kicks? I don't know. Either way, she was showing different ways to move around while gaming, especially with the Switch. I think, obviously the Wii, its predecessor, had all of the opportunity to be the ultimate fitness gaming console, and then you got things like the Xbox Connect and PS Move shortly after that. But I still think from a platform perspective, the Switch, the Wii, the way the Joy-Cons are set up with the Switches and the Wii remotes made it the most convenient to game and move at the same time, because PS Move, it's not the same. And I showcase, my own Switch-based fitness stuff all the time. And to see a transition like this, once again, similar to the last one, come from a gamer who still manages to go from their day-to-day and stay fit and healthy to also being a gamer, which I know for a fact you can manage both and still, have your 20-hour sessions if you really want to, as long as you do things like take breaks and do stretches and whatever. It is amazing to see more thought and focus being put on health and fitness in the gaming space as of late, not just in creators, but also in the supplement industry and things like that. So, awesome transition. And that was that one. All right. So far, so good. We've got, some amazing transitions with these people. All right, let's see where this one starts. 4 exercises gamers should avoid. I don't like saying you should avoid exercises ever unless, there is a specific reason you need to avoid them. And according to this account tag, either this person is a physical therapist or a personal trainer. There is a reason I specifically, when I talk about being a personal trainer, I either say personal trainer or I say CPT, certified personal trainer, because that is different from physical therapist. Given the office-y looking setting they're recording this in, I'm going to go with physical therapist. But either way, I don't love, as a CPT myself, saying that we should avoid exercises. Obviously, there are exercises that don't fit everybody based on their injuries, based on things that they interact with, but that doesn't mean you should avoid that exercise in general. So I don't love saying avoid exercises unless there's an injury. Obviously, if you have an injury, you want to avoid certain exercises, but let's see where this one goes. Why the switch to the helmet? That's here nor there, to the pull-ups. I'm hoping there's some explanation here as to why gamers should avoid these exercises, because pull-ups, typically speaking, if done correctly, are a great exercise to have in your routine, but a lot of people can't do them with proper form or just don't have, the muscle strength in their upper body to actually lift their body. And there are plenty of assisted ways you can do pull-ups, but I wouldn't say that you should avoid them. I'm confused. Barbell What? Why? Why are we avoiding barbell deadlifts as gamers? That makes no sense. Why? Why are we giving no explanation to this? If we're going to be telling people to avoid exercises publicly, we should be saying why we're avoiding them. What muscle groups are impacted by these things that would make this group of people you're telling to avoid them impacted by it? I'm seeing a pattern of these are exercises that typically aren't beginner friendly, and maybe, an overload on your upper bodies to make long gaming sessions a little bit more difficult because your upper body is fatigued and you're not holding proper posture. But other than that, I'm not seeing the argument line here. Rows with both arms. Again, why? Why? Why rows? Again, barbell rows in particular can be difficult to do with proper form, especially if you were struggling to lift even just the 45-pound bar. So working with dumbbells to stabilize yourself and doing single arms or maybe even cable rows is definitely easier to ensure that you have correct form and less hard on the body because you have more control over the weight and resistance you're putting against yourself if you are new to that type of exercise. But that doesn't make rows with both arms bad. Because at the end of the day, even when you're doing dumbbells, you can do a 2-arm dumbbell. You just aren't connected by a barbell. So it's not common to do it that way. You usually do one side and then do the other, and that also helps if you have a shoulder injury or something where you need to lighten it on one side. But why? Why? Barbell. Again, another staple. Why are we telling... These are all upper body exercises. Deadlift is a bit more of a compound, as is barbell bench, but for the most part, it focuses heavily on the upper body in these exercises. So I'm assuming my original idea of, fatiguing the upper body so that it makes holding proper posture while in gaming chairs and things, gaming for long amounts of time is the argument here. Because other than that, I'm not seeing any science-backed reason, for lack of a better way of putting it, to avoid these exercises. Okay, then why tell people to avoid them? The audio for this TikTok didn't download, so you get voice over me, but basically what he's saying is they're not great for long gaming sessions and comfortable gaming sessions, which I'll get into here. Okay, fine. Yes. If you're trying to be comfortable and compete for long periods of time, if your upper body is fatigued, I wouldn't put all of those exercises in one training day the day you go compete. I wouldn't be training upper body at all the day you go compete, because that doesn't make any fucking sense if you are a competitive gamer. However, that doesn't mean you should avoid those exercises and never do them. You would just have to strategically plan them out on days that you maybe are, reviewing footage or not doing as much physical gaming at your chair, that your fatigued upper body may be an impact. Also, make sure that you're focusing on recovery if you are going to do heavy resistance training in between, your gaming sessions and things like that. Focusing on recovery and nutrition to ensure that your body is properly recovering from those things and you're not overtraining certain areas of your body. Your hands, your neck, and everything else that typically is included in gaming is included in that story. That doesn't mean you should avoid these exercises. Just don't put them all in the same workout. Or put them on the day that you're going to go, perform a big session. I hate when people say we should avoid exercises or avoid these foods. No, do them strategically. Don't avoid them. Do them, but do them strategically. Maybe during off season, you start incorporating those exercises. But if you never train them, you're never going to get better at them to the point that you can do, light work with them on any day. So I can't justify this statement here, personally speaking. All right, let's see what this one says. In 2020, I was told by a doctor that if I didn't lose weight, I was going to need a heart transplant by age 50. Okay. I mean, that can be scary for sure. I don't know how old you were, but that's definitely scary. So let's see where this goes. £325. Wow. I knew there was only one thing that would motivate me to exercise daily. My favorite video game, Dance Dance Revolution. See, I love it. I love a good dance game. I think this was about the time Just Dance was coming out, so DDR would have been the only one around at the time, if it was 2010. But I love a good dance game. They're good. I mean, I grew up as a dancer. Obviously, I'm going to say dance is an amazing workout. Playing at the arcade was an expensive and inconvenient. Yeah, I could see that. Sometimes getting to a gym is inconvenient for people. So definitely getting to an arcade, especially one that you have to pay money every time you play the game, is not a solution to working out. To me, it's just as, a total solution to something like Orange Theory or F45, where you have to pay per every session you go. And if you cancel late, you're paying the fee of it or whatever. I think that's a silly fitness tactic. But anyways, the local machines were in poor condition. I found a broken down DDR machine on eBay and bought it. I repaired it and began my journey. And there you have it. Physical proof in a TikTok that video games can, in fact, help you lose weight. Almost 100 pounds down between the 325 and 255, about 20 pounds off. And all done with DDR, supposedly. And probably nutrition, I would guess. But no, mostly DDR is your workout method. Exer games are an amazing component to your workouts. There we go, 100 pounds down to 224. Weight loss wasn't enough. I decided I wanted to build muscle too. Okay, yeah, no. That is generally the progression, right? I wouldn't say that video games and exer games are the total solution, right? Dance is mostly, especially in the form of DDR. Obviously, if you're taking real dance classes, you're building muscle. Same with gymnastics and things like that. But with something like DDR or Just Dance, it's mostly cardio. So you're going to have rapid weight loss usually with cardio, but it's hard to sustain. And also, you want to continue to build muscle and work on building muscle, progress to a gym maybe even, so that you can maintain that weight loss and continue to not have to continuously cut calories. So let's see. I mean, this transition's amazing as it is, but the mindset switch of I want to lose weight to I want to build muscle and maintain my weight loss is one that I have to talk with my clients about a lot. See? Here's our safety arms that I was talking about. If you're gonna do the barbell back squats alone, make sure you have some form of cage or safety arms to do them so that if you fail safely. All of this also increased my DDR skill and ability. See, this is also proving the point that I like to make a lot to clients, to people in my streams, things like that. When you improve your health and fitness, whether it be your diet or, exercise so that you have more energy and things like that, you also start to improve your mental focus, your reaction times, and everything else that comes with the skills you need to game. It's not just a DDR thing. It's just in general. When you're playing, if you want to rank up in Marvel Rivals or whatever the game is, increasing your health and fitness also increases your gaming ability. The two go hand in hand, and they need to be cohesive for you to be at the top of your game as a gamer, streamer, content creator. The mental clarity that comes from improving your health and nutrition and then taking it to gaming will surprise you. And in 2019, I upgraded to a newer, better DDR machine. Good for you. These are the results, but I'm still not finished. I'm 40 years old now and want to stay active the rest of my life. And that is the way to do it. Sustainable, slow weight loss, wanting to make it more of a lifestyle rather than a diet. All the ultimate way to mix gaming and fitness. And I love this video. I also like the choice in outfit here, but that's just me. And again, another full at-home gym too. You can get equipment for cheap. You don't have to pay for a gym membership or expensive equipment. It's pretty easy to build an at-home gym if you have the space. Obviously, if you don't have the space, then your apartment gym complex may not be the best, but it's probably free. Or, local Planet Fitnesses or something like that are cheap and easy to access. That was that one, though. And that is, kind of the ultimate example here of why I do what I do. Those videos are an inspiration to gamers, an inspiration to myself to keep doing what I do. While I'm not sure any of these people worked with coaches, or maybe some of them have become coaches, I love to see that, gamers are continuously proving that stereotype wrong and continue to be great examples in the community of gamers. And that was that. Those first few videos were an inspiration not only to me to keep doing what I was doing, but I hope they're an inspiration to you as gamers, that we can break that stereotype that gamers are just unhealthy and lazy and never want to do anything. There are plenty of gamers out there, myself included, that blend health and fitness and gaming, and it actually ends up helping your gaming in the end. But if you have videos that you would like me to react to, whether it be programs, your own transformation that you did with gaming or without gaming, just a transformation in general, your what I eat in the days, I don't really care. You can DM them to me on TikTok or Discord, or, message me. Nope. Just DM them to me on TikTok or Discord. Those links will be in a comment down below. But I am looking forward to hopefully doing more of these reacts in the future and showing that gamers can do amazing things with their video games to get fit, as well as, break that stereotype that we've all been victims of at one point or another, I'm sure. But that is all for this week, and I hope you hit that subscribe button and like button so that I can continue to make more videos like this, and you can continue to see more gamer related health and fitness content, specifically built by a gamer for my gamer friends. And that is all. So go out there and level up your real life stats.